Hi guys.
We're back.
It's all. I mean, it's just been about 10 minutes or so.
It's been about 10 minutes, but in those 10 minutes, it's gone from being incredibly hot and incredibly humid to it's absolutely dark and it's now pouring with rain. But we've been waiting 2 months for a storm and it's finally come, so we're really pleased about it.
And we're indoors, so it's fine. There's probably a leak because it's a church and all churches leak, but we're okay. We want you to know that we're okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
So we've got some interesting things here, haven't we?
Yeah, so this is the second part of our sampling video. The first part was imaginary authors and Penhaligons.
Or Schmaligans, as I call them.
As you now call them.
Yeah. But with love.
So we have some more fragrances which we bought from Roullier White, which is this great shop in South London in East Dulwich. 3 samples from the house of Pryn Parfum. So these are a Thai-based fragrance company. I've made a few notes here.
Never heard of them.
A guy called Prin Lomros is the nose and the brains as well, I guess, behind it. Now, I first heard about this house because I heard of a fragrance called Axum, which costs $540 for 50 ml and smells of a goat.
The dream.
Yeah, as soon as I hear something like that, I'm just immediately interested.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, Roullier White don't carry a fragrance like that because I guess they won't sell enough of it, so it's not really worth their while. But even so, a house which does something like that makes me think, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What's going on? Let's find out more about them. So I've got I looked at the range which they do carry in Roullier White, and I've got 3 fragrances, and they're all
very exciting.
They're really, really good.
Wow.
They're really, really good.
So no goats have been harmed?
No goats, but
sadly.
We've got some really interesting things, and I'm really excited to see how Joe gets on with them. He hasn't smelt them at all. Okay, so if you start with this one, which is called Ayothaya, so just go ahead and spray it on your hand. And
spray on the skin. I'm going to give this on the elbow.
Yeah. So this is Ayatola was a part of the kingdom of Siam, which I guess is now Thailand, from about the 13th to the 17th century, and it was a big trade route. So there were people coming from all over the world there, from as far as Portugal, as well as Japanese and China. There was people coming from India and from as far afield as Portugal and the rest of Europe. So it's a big meeting of cultures. It also became a big centre for Buddhism, and that's why. I mean, you get this big kind of.
That's why it's amazing.
It's just
amazing.
It's a huge incensey. There's a lot of olibanum is the main kind of incensey note, but there's so much more to it as well. And the other thing, it doesn't. I couldn't see this mentioned in the story, but I get a suggestion of gunpowder, and I don't. Do you get that? Yeah.
Oh, do you know that is absolutely stunning?
I mean, because there are lots of great incensey fragrances out there.
This is more.
They are so often ramped up by ISO and synthetic synthetics to give them this woody feel. Whereas this just smells like.
It's actually really beautiful as well. It's like incredibly beautiful.
Oh, it's quite difficult to describe because it's. You occasionally get this quality with incense, which is on one hand so bitter and yet so sweet.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. But I'm sure I get a kind of a gunpowdery kind of spark to it as well.
There's something in there of that, isn't there?
But it's so kind of multifaceted. On one hand, it feels incredibly bold and in your face, but it also feels really mellow.
It's very round.
Say it again.
It's very round. And again, like so many things that I love, the opening for me had this almost industrial, like paint terps or something.
Yeah, it's just
it was
huge.
so
as soon as you spray it, I actually feel slightly lightheaded from kind of inhaling it. It's so
and very old school world as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something of a quality of opening. You feel like you're opening an old chest made out of incredibly precious wood. You know, as if where they kept the ceremonial incense, and it's got some burning embers.
There's a lot of burning, and there's a lot of like 1,000 snuffed out candles.
Absolutely.
All at the same
perfect.
time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh God.
It's incredible, isn't it? And as I say, you do smell a lot.
Stunning.
You know, someone like Amouage do a lot of kind of incense, and I think this feels like a slightly higher level.
This makes Amouage look a little bit tame, to me, a little bit well mannered somehow.
And certainly, if you think like Comme des Garçons Avignon, that feels like it's 2 or 3 rungs.
Oh, absolutely.
Below this.
You really sense the boldness of putting this together.
It's difficult to put in words.
It's very hard.
This balance of bitterness and almost sharp, acrid burnt quality with this real sweet depth.
Yeah, I mean, I can't actually think of words to describe that. It doesn't fall into any conventional perfume terminology.
Well, that was just the first one of three. So the next one we've got is same little bottle like this. It's called Morra. So this is based on a character in Thai folklore. If you give yourself a squirt, and then I'll start talking about it. So she, I guess she's this. She's famous for being promiscuous. So she's a young maiden, if you like, who cops off with a bandit, so with a bad guy. So there's a real balance of beautiful, bright florals and a depth of kind of darkness. So in the oh my god, I just kind of I'm going to waft it.
Get some of that. What do you think?
Oh my god. So you got this this big aldehydic floral in. It's just big and bold, and there's yeah, it's kind of difficult. We talked about Belgravia Chypre from Penhaligon's, and we said it's very, very, very difficult to do a Chypre, but this is. You can just tell the ingredients are out of this world, and the way it's balanced. I guess I'm slightly reminded of Amouage Gold for that big floral. I'm also slightly reminded of Rien by État Libre d'Orange, that aldehydes and incense.
And it's not a million miles away from vintage Derby.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a million miles away.
Yeah. It's not that's got a slightly more soapy feel, whereas this is. I think the florals in this are lighter. I think it mentions opium. I don't really know what opium smells like, but if you think of a poppy flower, if you think of how brittle the poppy leaves petals are, it's kind of, even though it's big, it's got a kind of fragility and a beauty to it.
Yeah, I mean that's got a real beautiful elegance. Old school.
Yeah.
Like respectful of the Chypre.
Yeah.
And how to put them together.
It's incredible when someone, the company started in 2016, or the fragrances were first released then. I don't understand someone who's so new to perfume uses such huge ingredients, but the effect is so rounded and refined. See, I also get a bit of incense there. It's a kind of a bright, dancing incense, which again, as a Western nose, it makes you think of the Orient.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a very kind of simplistic level.
But, I mean, to me, this is the best of everything I love in perfume, because I love the things that sort of remind me a little bit of the glory days of perfume, but done with a modern twist.
I think that incense just gives it a little bit of brightness. Yeah. The other thing to say, we were said before, when we were chatting before, we were talking about, on our own off-camera, talking about Belgravia Chypre, and we said Chypre is always difficult to do because these big old school Chypres did rely on animalics to give them a lot of their character, and you can't really use them very much. So what they've done here is they've used, I've written this down, an ingredient called Kopi Luwak. Some people may have heard of civet coffee, which is when coffee beans have been eaten by the civet cat, passed through, shat out, and then used to make coffee. It's the most expensive coffee you can get. I think it's $800
I think
for a
Nescafe
kilo.
Gold Blend.
That's just next level. But just under that is this civet coffee, which is $800 for a kilogram. And that's what he's used in here. So he's tried to get a natural, real civet ingredient whilst being animal friendly, and also I guess thus avoiding any IFRA regulations. Although it's
and a coffee note as well. I mean,
there's
fantastic. Now you mention it, there's a little bit of that espresso.
That's the thing, because it's not just traditional Chypre, is it? There's a bit more dancing around there.
The structure that the bones are.
It's kind of slightly. It sounds a silly thing to say, but there's a slightly magical quality. There's a slightly kind of fairy tale feel to it.
Yeah.
Can I just go back to the other one as well? That's so
These are two
thick.
absolutely masterpiece fragrances.
I mean, I'm just going to say, if you like those, just wait for the last one.
I will almost certainly be buying one of these.
I mean, so this is Turkish leather. So when you put those two words together, you get really strong visions. Tether, yeah, or Lurkish.
Yeah, Lurkish. I love it.
But you get ideas of a dark leather tannery. You get ideas of Turkish delight, or maybe Turkish coffee with cardamom, or maybe a bazaar with spices. It got lots of strong ideas. And I looked to the notes list, and there was a few things which sprung to mind. Anyway, give yourself a squirt. I'm going to have a squirt as well.
We're at the top of the arm there. I find it quite hard to spray sometimes because my... There we go.
I'm going to go for some as well because...
It's just incredible. Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I mean...
Wow.
You look at notes lists and you look at descriptions and you prepare yourself for something, and then it just absolutely blows your...
When a fragrance is even bigger than the bullshit marketing that you read...
Oh my God! But
it's
it's not that it's just big. It's very original. I'm just getting a big rounded chocolate, and I mean real chocolate. Not talking dark chocolate. Or, this is, you can really among it's real cocoa. It's got the kind of bitterness of the powder, but there's a real there's a sweetness. There's a kind of thick, candied, sugary. Date-like sweetness. Again,
that thing. We talk so much about perfume transporting you somewhere.
Yeah.
That just takes me straight to the Middle East.
Yeah.
Burying my head in a market stall somewhere.
But there's also the coffee and the chocolate in there as well. It's so thick. It's so luxurious. And it's interesting. It says it's called Turkish leather. I don't get the leather straight away because there's so much else.
And we've just smelled that.
Yeah. I mean, there's also incense in this as well. So it's one of the...
so challenging as well.
In
a good way.
In one hand, it's challenging in that I've got no benchmark.
Yeah, I'm having to really think.
This doesn't really feel quite like anything else. So it's also it's kind of inspired by and incorporates an ingredient called lucum, which is a rose water Turkish delight. And I found when I had a couple of days of trying this, and as it develops, I do think the chocolate and the coffee and the dates of the start to recede, and the leather comes out, and you then get this rose water, kind of slight rose water feel. And I think these sweets normally have pistachios in them as well.
There is something like a bit slightly bitter almond or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm getting straight away.
But that is just...
That's absolutely stunning.
When I first sprayed it, I put it on at about 7:30 at night. By 7:30 the next morning, it was almost like a freshly applied fragrance. I mean, the fragrance had changed, but in terms of projection, it was still, almost as strong as this. The performance was incredible.
That's one of the most original things I've smelled.
And the leather starts to come out, and again, there are so many leather fragrances. We talked about ombre leather before, and we've talked about Tuscan leather before. This has got such depth, and the way to marry leather with chocolate and coffee, as well as the spices and incense and fruit.
It sort of knocks those out of the park for me, I have to say.
And also, the notes we're talking about are big notes, but somehow, again, it feels like one accord.
Yeah.
Again, it does change, and things come to the fore and to the background, but it's incredible.
It actually, a fragrance sometimes makes you feel a little bit emotional in a good way. It actually
brings a tear to your eye.
it's so beautiful.
Can I say? It's
so stunning. Well, that's.
That's
Morra.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I really love. That's my kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean that. Yeah.
So is this.
And it does remind me a bit of Amouage Gold, but there's somehow a little bit more brightness and kind of playfulness, and I said it's got the kind of fairy tale quality to it. And then this is the
That thing is incredible.
Oh god, it's so thick with piney olibanum.
It's becoming greener.
Yeah, it's
somehow, if that's possible.
Deep, round, dark, all-encompassing. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm still getting a kind of gunpowder vibe.
Yeah.
And that's what it's making me think of this. If it's been a big busy centre, that there's been any city which is big and busy and there's lots of nations coming in, there's got to have been war, hasn't there?
Yeah.
You know, so there's got to be things going on, and in a way, it kind of
Friday nights usually.
Yeah, exactly. When the weather's being shots and things like that. But it reminds me, some of the Beaufort fragrances have that kind of like gunpowder.
Yeah, for instance. Yeah.
But this Turkish leather, I mean, I think it's been pretty clear.
And there's a wonderful bitter edge to it, which I love. It's not all sweet. Sometimes I find Turkish delight style things can be overly sweet.
It's not sickly sweet at all. I mean, there's nothing.
It's just a wonderful depth.
Because it is very sweet, but it's dark sweetness. I mean, imagine this in a winter's evening. That is, you're sat down.
Unbeatable.
Amazing, absolutely incredible. These fragrances aren't cheap. They are 140 quid for 50 ml. But
yeah, it's not too bad.
Considering the quality, considering the performance, considering the originality, they're an absolute bargain. I mean, I would say if you compare them to any of the other fragrances in our last video, I mean, I would say these are better value. Even these are the most expensive. They are the best value. But don't go out and blind buy them, because these are big, bold fragrances. They don't smell like off-your-shelf design.
No, absolutely.
I mean, they are really.
Get these little samples here.
Yeah, go to the Roullier White. If you're in the UK, go to the Roullier White website. If not, go to the Pryn Parfum website, and they have stock lists all over the world. I'm sure in America they probably sell them on Lucky Scent. They sell everything on Lucky Scent.
Yeah, they're very good actually.
Yeah, we need something like that here.
I think you're moving to this.
But oh my God,
the quality speaks volumes, doesn't it? You can just tell.
Out of the imaginary authors, the Penhaligon's and the Pryn, if you were going to buy 3 fragrances, what would you buy?
3, I would buy Sun Drunk. I would buy Morra, and it's a toss-up between Ayatola, not Ayatola.
What was it called? Ayothaya. Ayatola, something different.
And this, I think the rose for me, the Turkish rose.
Turkish leather.
Turkish leather.
Yeah, I would say for me definitely Turkish leather.
Yeah.
And then I would say Morra, which was that kind of sheepra with the kind of dancing incense. It's a very strange noise. And then Sun Drunk, just to kind of contrast them. But if I was,
you need Sun Drunk after these just to go wow. Okay.
But if I was if I was going to only buy one of these fragrances out of all these fragrances, it would definitely be Turkish leather. Perhaps because I've lived with it. Well, all of them a bit more.
You've experienced
more. And the performance of this. I mean, look. I don't know if you can see the sheen of oil on my hand. But there's just a glaze of oil, which is a sign of how high concentrated. They call these EDP intense. So you're probably talking. It's normally X-ray strength, and it must be because the way it performs. These are very, very, very special. Really special.
Some of the best perfumes I've ever smelled, I think.
Yeah.
And not just on first impressions at all, but I can tell when something is going to stay with me and develop.
Because this isn't. And these aren't just front punchy at the front. They're so immediately, completely round.
Yeah.
You're not just getting bang top notes blue. It's just
they invite you in. They really they sort of suck you into their world of imagination.
So anyway, I think our feelings are clear. So go out and try these and samples. Buy samples.
Yeah.
Lots of the independent companies will sell them directly. If not, if you're in the UK, you can go to a shop like Bloom, Les Monteurs, or Roullier White. Or if not, there are lots of on eBay. There are lots of people selling decants and things. There are decant shops. Go out and try them. And it's just a way of getting to know perfume rather than thinking. I don't want to spend lots of money, but maybe you just want to have a collection of samples. So you're trying lots of little bits.
You have a taster.
Build up a kind of portfolio and get to understand and experience flavours without smells.
And a bottle that size, you'll get a considerable bit of wearing out of that, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's enough for a few days' work, like 3 days good proper wear, and then you can have a whole cupboard of fragrances.
People do, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, oh my God, I mean that's just extraordinary. Yeah. Anyway, enough for now. We've got
bubblegum as well. I'm getting bubblegum now.
There's a kind of candied sweetness, Anyway, we've said enough. But go and try them. They're amazing.
Please, and not a famous Hollywood poster.
And not Johnny Depp.
No. So we love it.
Until next time, happy sniffing.